Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the League of Volunteers Catalyst of Change event. Today is January the 29th, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this event on behalf of Toastmasters District 84. And at this time, I'd like to introduce to all of us our guest speaker this evening. With a career built on both leadership and technical expertise, Stefano McGhee is passionate about empowering individuals and organizations to thrive. His journey began in the world of information technology, where he currently serves as a Senior Director of Technology Operations. But his true passion lies in communication and leadership, a passion ignited by his 19-year journey with Toastmasters International. As a distinguished Toastmaster, two-time district director and past board member, he has witnessed firsthand the transformative power of effective communication. His experiences in the corporate world, coupled with his military service as a lieutenant colonel in Rhode Island Air National Guard, have further honed in his ability to navigate complex situations and inspire action. Today, Stefano balances his professional pursuits with a love for adventure, whether it is soaring through the skies, cruising the waterways, or exploring new horizons on two wheels. He believes in embracing life's opportunities with enthusiasm and dedication. And with that, please help me welcome, and let's give a warm round of emoji and applause to our first Vice President, Stefano McGhee.
Thank you so much, Maria. It's such a pleasure to be with you all tonight. It's a blessing to be able to have gotten to this level, to see folks. I did not expect that I would see people that I recognize as I travel around, visit all the districts. So it's always when I was like, hey, I met them before. I know who that is. So it's I'm to all those folks that I've met before and said hello, and maybe we exchanged digital business cards. It's nice to see you again. Thanks for coming out. I didn't know I had a fan club. So thank you, Maria. So good evening to all of you. It's truly an honor to be able to speak to you tonight. A special thank you to Dr. Maria Martinez. She's the League of Volunteers chair. In case you didn't know, she gave me the invitation, went to Toastmasters, asked to see if I could attend, went through that process, and came out with an invitation for me. So congratulations to you, Maria. I hope it's worth all the effort on your part. I've been checking around to see how things are going in District 84, and it seems to get a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to refer to it a little bit in the talk that I have for you tonight. But again, I can't stress enough how honored it is to have the opportunity to speak to all of you and contribute to your team's vision of improvement. So I like to start a little bit when I think about volunteering, how I got into Toastmasters. So I'd say it was about 30 years ago. I was in college and I was taking some coursework to become an officer in the United States Air Force. So, in Toastmasters, in the Air Force, you talk a lot about, airplanes. But when it came to presentation skills, the only thing that I got out of the military was one point that is as true today as it was back then. Do you know what it was? If the general falls asleep during your presentation, your message is lost. Right? That message alone has let me to move around a lot more when I'm in person, but also to add as much humor as I can to my presentations so that people laugh, because that's what people are really looking for. Still, I never understood I didn't understand at the time how to put together a presentation, or how I could stop the rambling that always seemed to take place when I was in my speeches and an awesome idea would pop into my head mid-speech and I'd lose my place. It still happens. But it was around that time that I met my wife. And she joined Toastmasters. She joined Toastmasters because she was referred by her employers because she was terrified of public speaking. I was not terrified. That was simply terrible. You see what I did there? Come on. I'm here all night. Try the veal. No, but seriously, seriously. One of the examples, this is one of those examples. Have you ever heard the ancient Greek aphorism, know thyself? Yeah, that wasn't me at the time. But 5 years after my wife joined, I joined Toastmasters. I joined so that she could get credit for having a new member. It's as good as reason as any, right? So when I joined Toastmasters, there were a few things I didn't expect. Positive reinforcement. It worked wonders for my skill development. And the constructive feedback that I got. It actually helped me get better by reminding me what I was doing well, in addition to giving me some things to improve next time. You know what else I saw? Nobody really wanted to lead. Hey, I have a great club. I still love my home club, and we get things done. But nobody wanted to lead. But in hindsight, I see why. Oftentimes when we think about club leadership, we kind of sell it as something like a household chore, like taking out the garbage or doing the dishes. Nobody wants to do it, but you got to do it to get stuff done. But if you try to reframe that in your mind, you can see that being a club leader is so much more than that. You get to run a little mini organization, a store franchise for you entrepreneurs out there. And it endows your customers, if you're successful, with confidence, a keen eye for evaluation, a place to share their stories in a safe place. So just like running any other franchise, it can be challenging at times, but the payoff, right? Seeing members grow in their confidence and skill, and knowing that you played a part in it. Yes, you. Well, that's one of the few feel-good times in your life, right? It's you can witness the joy of a new member winning the table topics contest for the first time, or not table topic speaker for the first time. You can revel in the excitement of somebody being the Toastmaster for the first time. Always entertaining. And you can see the difference in somebody's first speech to their 5th or their 10th or their 50th. Something that might have escaped you as you're watching all this happen is that you were responsible for that. Yeah, I see you don't believe me. We'll talk about that. It's not just appointed in a distinguished club plan to have people be successful. This member that's in your club that you're helping to run, that you're a volunteer leader for, is going to go out into their work or their community and be more successful because of the environment you set up. The challenge is great to get it done, but the rewards are greater. What I'm really trying to say is, in running a club and being a volunteer leader, you're a catalyst of change. Maybe. We are the purveyors of confidence. People come to us because they seek what we provide. The very next year, about 15 months later, I was elected as president of my club. We don't need to go into that. I was president of my club. And then I was asked to be an area director or area governor. It was an area governor back then. Are there any past area governors out there? Past area directors? Got a few. All right. Look, I put my hand up. I tell you, Zoom sometimes. Here, now I got to go find it and turn it. There we go. Lower hand. Good. Zoom. It's crazy. So these are volunteer leaders. Nobody does this because they have to. They do it because they want to, or at least I hope they do. Now, I've been blessed to have many roles in Toastmasters. And to this day, one of my top 2 roles is area governor / area director. Yeah, area governor. Why? Well, you know why. Because when you are an area director, you get the opportunity to go around and visit multiple clubs, and you see things you ain't never seen before. I mean, only the good stuff, right? The bad stuff you never saw, you forgot about it, you put it out of your mind. But the good stuff that you saw, like the listening quiz master, yeah, it's a thing. You could take that and bring it to another club. Or that goal where you still see people that take the manual, or they take the pathways thing and they read what the goal is before the speech so that everybody knows what they're trying to do. That's like good stuff. And you bring that around. You organize speech contests. Talk a little bit more about those later. But I have to tell you, when you organize a speech contest and it starts on time and it ends on time, people notice. They thank you for doing that. I thank you for doing that, for finishing your contest on time. But you provided an excellent experience for a club member that may never have experienced anything outside of the club before. This is the first thing that they see outside the club. And if it goes well, they may become curious about what else there is to do outside of the club. Like maybe the League of Volunteers or a conference. When you're successful as a volunteer, you create a reason for other people to want to volunteer. People that didn't even think about it. Not everybody does this, but some might say, I want to do that. If they can do that, maybe I want to do that. And their lives change because they've decided to do something different. Many of these people are thankful, and they will look at you, yes, you, and they'll say, geez, I'm so thankful that they did this thing for me, but they'll never tell you. They'll never tell you. They'll forget. But you'll have changed their lives. You might find out 5 years later where they say, hey, Greg, remember that thing you did for me like 5 years ago? And Greg's like, vaguely. That really changed my life. Wow. Okay. It happens more than you think. But it doesn't matter if you get told or not. It shouldn't stop you from understanding that the actions you take catalyze change in others. In January of 2020, the board conducted a survey of all the district leaders in the world. I was on the board as an international director then. And we asked the trios that were becoming district leaders, we asked them why they did what they did. And they said, well, it's because I was told as a district leader, it's going to make me better in my regular life. Sure. But after they found out the truth, we asked them why they continue doing it. And the answer was pretty consistent. They did it because they enjoyed seeing how their members thrive when they have a good environment. These are, again, volunteers that are doing something simply because they want to see a good outcome that has no reflection, has nothing to do with them. That's kind of amazing. They understand that as volunteers, when the people that we work with, that we help get better, we all win. Volunteers enjoy the work when the successful fruits of their labor is a better member. But a question for you is, what does that success look like? So we have metrics provided to us to judge success. Some of you may be aware of the Distinguished District Program. Yes, maybe. All of you should be aware of the Distinguished Club Program. And those are metrics that we use to evaluate if we're successful. Don't be shocked. Every organization, yes, you corporate workers out there, me included, have metrics. You can't get away from it. Otherwise, you're just guessing if you're being successful. But a question that I throw out to you is being distinguished why we're here? Are those goals why we're here? Becky's already shaking her head, so I guess I have to stop here. No, of course not. That's not why we're here. We're here for the member that joins because they're nervous about speaking at their church. We're here for the member that wants to speak at a sibling's wedding and has never spoken up before. We're here because someone wants to give a tribute at their mother's retirement and have never told them how proud they are of her. And we're here for the member that wants to give a eulogy at their father's funeral because that's how they need to say goodbye. That's why we're here. That's why we volunteer to do what we do. because the joy we feel as volunteers when our fellow members are successful and they give the speech that they need to give, that's how we judge our success. When a member gives a presentation at work that contributes to their promotion, we all get promoted. By the way, guys, thank you for last July. You really hooked me up. I got promoted at work. I appreciate that. I appreciate what you did. You own a piece of that. But sometimes members come to us because they lost a job or they want to get their confidence back and get working again. Clubs are a great place where people can go to make that human connection. We learn about each other through all those speeches and working together in clubs, providing that supportive environment so members can get back on their feet. When they do that, we succeed as volunteers. We create the environment for that to happen. So here's an example that should really resonate. Well, I hope it will resonate with you. It really did with me. I was campaigning a few years ago. I think it was for second vice president the first time. Seems like so long ago. And there was a district that I was interviewing, and I was going creeping on their website to see what they were doing and stuff like that. And they had pictures of their last district conference. And it was the first one after the pandemic. So kind of put your brain in that phase, right? They had posted pictures of it online, and I'm looking through their pictures, and I saw people there. They were dressed at their finest. There were people crying with joy. They were laughing. Like you could feel the warmth in the smiles and the hugs. The event was a huge success for them because the people just wanted to be together again. But that event, that awesome event, volunteers, who put together the venue, who got the food, who arranged all the events, got the music, had the photographer, all of that. That event was life-changing. If you saw the pictures, you would believe it. People reconnected. People were people again. Because volunteers did the work, they changed lives. This happens all the time in our great organization because of the work that you all do on events small and grand. Every one of us has something that we can do that is unique to us, that we can bring to the organization to create those life-changing events. And again, you don't always know it as you're in the moment. Sometimes you need to reflect back and say, what did we actually do here? I see from District 84's calendar that it's contest time. There's contests all over the place. And a couple of years ago, a member in my club, a friend of mine, she decided, we twisted her arm, as you're all aware, to compete in the international speech contest. We all do it. It's not just me. Don't pretend like you don't do it. So we twisted her arm. She competed in the international speech contest, and she won at our club. So we sent her off to the area. She never heard of what the area was before. So we sent her off to the area, and she competed at the area, and she won again. Sent her off to the division. Never heard what that was about. She went to the division contest and she lost. I said to myself, that stinks. Maybe try again next time. She'll try again next time. She'll do better. No. She said, Stefano, I never thought I would win at the club level. Never mind the area level. What else do I think I can do that I didn't think I could do before? This is mind-blowing. She went out and she joined the board of directors for some medical group that she was interested in. She's doing stuff for a condo society. And she would never have done this if it wasn't for competing in the speech contests. How do you think the speech contests happen? Volunteers to get the food, get the venue, do all the mundane things. They are mundane. It's mundane. But without all those pieces there, it creates the event that somebody goes through and their life, the path, the trajectory of their life changes. you have contributed to changing a life. I'm lucky I got to know about it, but there are others that don't. That's another example. The things that you do are sometimes invisible, but the effects are potent. As volunteers, how do we succeed? Quite simply, we succeed by empowering clubs to create the environments that allow our members to thrive. Fellow Toastmasters, always a great way to end a speech. This talk was intended to show you that this grand experiment that we call Toastmasters is not up to just one first vice president, not one district director, not even one club president, but a league of volunteers to make this program successful at every single level of our organization. Same is true at the international level. If you think the World Championship of Public Speaking doesn't change lives, it's all volunteers. Another great example. But the time is now. You're all here as the League of Volunteers. Don't stop now. Recruit a friend. Be a bigger part of changing lives. Maybe you're not sure that you have enough time. I'm telling you what, neither do I. But you can find the time to do the things that matter to you. As Jonathan Estrin once said, the way we spend our lives, our time defines who we are. Toastmasters gives us the opportunity to do good things in the world, to change a life, to be better, to make one club, one member, just a little bit better than when we found. I hope you choose to feel the joy that it means to help a member succeed. Be the volunteer that changes a life. Dr. Martinez, back to you.
Wow. Be the volunteer that changes a life. Everybody, please give Stefano a huge round of emoji applause. Thank you so much. And I've been calling you Stefano. You said Stefano earlier, so I stand corrected.
Stefano, yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you. We're so delighted to have you. How inspiring. I think everybody in this group has been touched in one way by that person that inspired us to join, or that inspired us to serve, or that saw something within us that maybe we had not seen for ourselves. So that speech was absolutely magnificent, and I'm happy we're recording it, because that'll give us an opportunity to share with a lot of other people that could not be here this evening. I'd asked on the chat, since we have a couple of minutes left, if anybody had a question, and Fred Vergeron has a question. Fred, what is your question for Stefano?
Thank you, Maria. Stefano, yes, my question is, in our organization, when it comes to finding volunteers to hold leadership roles, or maybe helping at contests, or those already in leadership roles, and they tell you, well, I'm not getting paid for this. How do you respond and or remedy, like when you hear that answer?
I tell people that there's a different purpose here. Yeah, I don't get paid for this, but I do it because it has the capacity to make somebody better. It makes me better. I feel like I've changed a lot. I've improved a lot about how I am, how I interact with people because of Toastmasters. So yeah, you don't get paid, but what I've told people is never sell being a volunteer as the mundane thing. Never tell somebody, I want you to volunteer at this club contest and be a timer because we need them. No, I want you to be a judge. Who wants to be a judge? Oh my God. No, nobody wants to do that. Change, reframe what we're doing here. We're doing a speech contest because this is the way that people can grip even more confidence to be the person that they're trying to be. And we need to be there to support them as timers or whatever. The point is, reframe what the end result is. Because when people say, oh, be an area director, you just have to do some visits and fill out some reports. Really? That sounds exciting. Come on. And yeah, I'm not getting paid to do that. That sounds like work. So reframe it to what we're trying to do, what the positives are, what we're trying to accomplish in the grand scheme of things. That's how we get paid. Because you're right, Fred. I don't want to do any of those things either.
Absolutely. Thank you, Fred, for your question. I do see a couple of comments from Sandra saying that it makes us better for future paychecks. And I think it alludes to those promotions, and those additional skills that we gain that we in turn apply in our communities and at work, and it prepares us for those promotions and new roles and added responsibilities. Something similar, again, Sandra said about working out those kinks in volunteering, then we can apply that to their transferable skills. And I think that there's a lot of power behind that. We operate in safe environments where everybody wants to see each other succeed, and it's so nurturing and welcoming, and we have mentoring along the way. I know that our immediate past district director, Vicky Goodman, is with us, and she has a question for you. Go ahead, Vicky.
Thank you for being here, Stefano. Good to see you. I wanted to ask, what motivated you to go from all of this wonderful club, local volunteering to the big stage, to go to Toastmasters International? Why are you going to do that? I know it's a volunteer organization, but it's very different, I think, being an international director or a second vice president. What is motivating you?
I'm trying to remember where I gave a speech about that, because somebody asked me that a few years ago, and I actually had to sit down and think about it for a little bit. And what I came up with is it's just a snowball effect of when I was in the military. I had an experience where we were getting, let's see, how should I put this nicely? We were being trained. We're being yelled at for, I don't know, it seemed like an hour or two. It was forever. And I was standing at attention with my head up against the wall. And in my head, I was thinking, this is terrible. I can't believe we do this to other people. And then once we were released and we went back to our rooms, I remember sitting down next to one of my colleagues, and he said, I can't wait to be a senior so I can do the same thing to the freshmen when I'm a senior. And I said, if I ever make it to that level, we will not do this. We will do something better. We will try to find a different way to get a better result. And I think that was where it began to say, a lot of people complain, what can you do to make it better? And it just snowballed from there. That's why I became a club president like 6 months after I joined. I'm like, well, people seem to be liking it. Well, maybe we could do better. Let's see what we can do. That's area director, and then so on. It's always just been a desire to listen to people. And then that's what Toastmasters has taught me. I cannot fix it all. You cannot fix it all. It is a wicked problem if you're into that sort of studying. It is a technically wicked problem, but you can make it a little bit better than how you found it. And you can bring a little bit of yourself, and people generally appreciate that. So that's how I got sucked in, Vicky, is really just a internal desire to want to try to make things better.
I love it. Even if you 1% better, right? Your job is done. And I agree, it is in giving that we receive and we become. So thank you again for inspiring us. I absolutely love your speech and your sense of humor.